A weekend update on the Barrelman Niagara Falls Triathlon on 610 News. Bonnie, over to you.
Have you ever done a triathlon? I have not. But coming up this Sunday, you will notice a lot of athletes in the water, on their bikes, and running in Niagara. The Barrelman Niagara Falls Triathlon is set for Sunday, and joining us now is Jason Vurma from MultiSports Canada. Hey, Jason.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm well, Bonnie. How are you?
I'm great. So are you an athlete as well, or is this just something you oversee?
I would say a former athlete in triathlon. Many of us who produce events got our start by participating and then sort of learning the craft over time. But I still keep myself active with other things that aren't triathlons on summer weekends.
So triathlons are swimming, running, and cycling.
Yeah, swim, bike, run in that order, and that's sort of the standard format for everything that is a triathlon.
Why do they do that? Is it just to, is there a certain reason?
The safest thing to do when you're tired is walk. If you were swimming and you were tired, not the best.
Yeah.
Biking, maybe. It's just the way it evolved over time. Triathlon is a sport that's almost 40 years young and has a long history in the Niagara area. The Mike Burwell Triathlon, which is this event, is sort of an ancestor of it in its own way, started all the way back in 1984 when they were trying to think about something to do with the old canal when it was turned over to the city.
Yeah, we have a perfect location to host something like this. I think you start in Welland on Sunday morning.
Yeah, now down at the beautiful International Flatwater Center. And the swimming takes place in what is the north course of the WIFC there. The cycling takes place heading out into beautiful Wainfleet and some quiet roads there, but passing back through Welland at about the 2/3 mark. And then we go to the effort to actually close the town line tunnel for the athletes to pass under the new section of the canal, and then shoot due east out to the beautiful Niagara Parkway, and then up the parkway to Chippewa, where the cycling concludes in Kingsbridge Park, and then the running takes place in the areas sort of north of Kingsbridge Park and between Kingsbridge Park and sort of the Floral Showcase, and then sneaks up onto Portage Road, almost up all the way to the casino, and they do 2 circuits of the run in Niagara Falls.
That's awesome. You get to see, just the most beautiful parts of Niagara in this triathlon, but I guess people aren't really paying attention to sightseeing. They're probably really focusing on their time
yeah, there's a little bit of that. The running course is definitely taking in some scenic areas. Like when you're on Portage Road, they're coming up to the top of the inclined railway. You can see and hear the falls. There is a little bit of sightseeing, but and this is not an event that you would consider an elite type event. A lot of people travel to the area to do this as kind of a fun experiential challenge. It's a significant challenge, but certainly not, this is not the Olympics or anything like that. This is regular active Joe and Janes who are really challenging themselves to a long distance triathlon.
So what are the distances when we talk about, the biking and cycling and all that stuff?
Yeah, so it does, we do 2 kilometers of swimming in the at the WIFC. The cycling route's 90K, so the first 60 sort of in the Welland Wainfleet area and the final 30 to get to Niagara Falls. And the running is a half marathon at 21 kilometers. So it is half of the Ironman distance, but we put a local flair to it. Instead of Ironman, it's Barrelman. And that is wine barrels beside the finish line and wine as prizes for some of the winners. No one is going down the river.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So it's not the barrels over the falls.
No.
Okay.
Though perhaps tongue-in-cheek, there's a little bit of that.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
So how many people are participating this year?
Yeah, 700 participants in the event, and most are doing the swim, bike, run, although we do offer a swim bike for those that maybe have, a knee issue or something and aren't running right now. And we also do a relay where one person can swim, one person can bike, and one person can run. And that's often the way that people dip their proverbial toe in the triathlon waters to see what one of those is like. And we have a large contingent of local athletes as well as folks from all over Ontario, upstate New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio. It does draw some over the border as well, as I said.
Oh, that's really cool. So all these people are usually staying here, so that's great for tourism.
Yes, it is. And we make it, and it's done only because to have 700 people arrive, say, on Sunday morning and bring all their bicycles in and get everything set up, that's just a bit of a bridge, pardon the pun, too far here, local. But so we make them. The requirement is to come on Saturday to check your bicycle in, listen to some of the mandatory sort of safety instructions, and then chill out and, get a good, healthy dinner and get to bed. And then the event starts early Sunday morning. So the neatest part of it, I think, is the fact that because it ends in Niagara Falls, we encourage folks to park in the falls, and we run a shuttle service in the morning where I'll get a bunch of adults to load onto a school bus, a bunch of nervous adults in the morning, and we bring them back over to Welland. And then they do the swimming there, and we have an elaborate system whereby which we actually take their baggage from Welland back to Niagara Falls in real time while the event is running, so that their running shoes actually make it to Niagara Falls before they do. So there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes with these events. It's a fun competitive challenge for us as organizers, back to your initial question. But and definitely something that folks make a weekend affair out of.
Yeah, it sounds great. I love that you can share the responsibilities, because I don't think I would be getting in the water in Welland. I'm sure that my pool is a nice 65 right now.
Oh, that waterway does stay pretty warm.
Does it?
It doesn't circulate. Oh yeah, we've got temperatures there right now still in the low 70s.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah. And folks in triathlon for these longer distance swims, sorry the interjection, will often wear specialized swimming wetsuits as well. Gives you a little bit more buoyancy, makes you move along a little bit quicker, and also insulates you. So that's quite a common thing with September triathlons, is to see people all dressed in these black swimming wetsuits, and that helps with a little bit of the chill.
And I'm assuming you need a lot of volunteers with just about everything, right? Registration and moving the shoes around, driving the bus.
Yeah. Volunteers and staff. So we draw on a number of different sources. So I would say two of our key contributors are anyone that's played basketball in the Niagara area probably knows the name Ron Lemon, longtime basketball coach out of Niagara College. He and his wife Linda are sort of instrumental in volunteers in the sort of Welland area. And then we actually also work with the Brock Sports Event Management Program and bring out students from Brock, actually hire a bus to bring them from the university to Niagara Falls so that they can get a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look at, what a triathlon is, both from a volunteering standpoint and sort of a professional development standpoint. And then a host of other volunteers from various different groups, schools. Yeah, it's a big undertaking.
All right. Well, how many years has this been running now in Niagara?
Yeah, this is actually we'll call it the 10th annual. We did have a few years off for the pandemic, but 2014 was the first edition of the event. And with our year off or two that we had, we're calling this the 10th annual. But again, part of a long history of triathlon in the area that goes back, nearly 40 years.
Okay. And is it too late for people to sign up?
And we do have walk-up registrations available in the morning, although with the distances that we've outlined here, does generally strongly encourage folks that are just preparing and maybe, we've had oftentimes folks that maybe they work shift work and they were finally able to get that shift off or someone to cover their shift, and now they can come and do the race or any number of situations. But yes, if it's something that someone feels that they're ready for, there's definitely walk-ups that are available.
Okay. And so where would they go? To Welland?
The Welland International Flatwater Center. Yeah, there's availability for that both on Saturday and Sunday morning.
I know this is kind of a big question to ask, but road closures, what should people expect?
Sure thing. That's a fair question. So we do close Town Line Tunnel, 58A, between Prince Charles Drive and over to where you would come off of the 140 at Rush Home Reeker, the new traffic circle there. So that's closed for a particular period of time on Sunday morning. But apart from that, there's a small closure on the Niagara Parkway between Portage and Upper Rapids, so Chippewa to Upper Rapids. But apart from that, it's a shared road experience, as we like to call it with folks, and that's why you see a lot of those share the road signs around. That's something that events have really sort of got on with about how are we all sharing the roads together. The tunnel, of course, is something that, as you can imagine, that's for safety we need to close to get folks through there without any big trucks.
I hate to ask this question, but I'm sure that you guys I'm sure you watch the ages of people participating. Can you share with us, let's say, the youngest or the oldest participant in the triathlon?
Sure. Yeah, I would say that an event of this distance, which for, let's say, the average participant might be a 6-hour triathlon. So that's relatively lengthy. We don't get as many young people. We offer throughout our series of triathlons that we do throughout the summer, everything from what we call a give it a try, which is, a 45-odd minute triathlon, all the way up to this Barrelman distance. So this generally draws more of a middle-aged crowd, folks that have taken a few years to sort of build up to being able to do these sorts of distances. And so I would say our average age is folks in their 40s and 50s and early 60s, but definitely some younger folks and some older folks are participating as well. But that's, I would say, the middle of the road.
All right. Anything else you want to mention about this Sunday's event?
No, just a big thank you to all our host communities, whether that's the city of Welland, Waynfleet. We've had great cooperation from Niagara region, city of Niagara Falls. So without our municipal partners and all the work that they help us with behind the scenes, events like this don't happen. And to all those that are coming out to volunteer, thank you, because you make that experience special for the participants.
How many volunteers do you have?
So this is 100 plus volunteers to pull this off, and 30 plus staff. So
that's a lot. It's a big operation. And I guess would you get the NRP's involvement just for the tunnel? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So a combination of OPP for the tunnel and NRP for the regional roads.
Well, look at this weather forecast. You couldn't have asked for a better day.
Pretty happy about that. We hosted an event last weekend where we had some single-digit lows in the morning, but no such troubles this weekend upcoming. And it looks like it's actually going to cool off from what the highs are projected to be for today and tomorrow for Sunday. So that's good. With a distance like that, as much as we've got lots of places for people to, fill up their water bottles, get water on the run, you can sweat out a heck of a lot more than you can put in on a warm day. And so having not a hot day but not a cold day is really what we're looking for.
Oh, and then the Forks Road Bridge. I think that's good news for you this year. Yes.
It is. And I'm so happy for the folks that have been so patient in Dane City with their situation down there. Beautiful bridge. There's a bike lane across it, so we'll obviously be using that. And couldn't be happier to see sort of the revitalization of that area, all the new homes that are going in there. Couldn't be happier.
Yeah, awesome. Well, good luck with everything on Sunday, and I guess we'll be driving slowly and waving at all your participants.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jason. Jason Vurma is with MultiSport Canada. So we're talking about the Barrelman Niagara Falls Triathlon. It is being held this Sunday. So you'll notice lots of runners and, people will be swimming in Welland. That's where it all starts. It ends in Niagara Falls. So there will be a few kind of like, as Jason said, like not complete road closures. There will be complete road closures in some areas, but a lot of the time you have to share the road with the cyclists and the runners. So you'll see lots of them out, hundreds of them out.
For more information, visit NiagaraFallsTriathlon.com.